Southeast Asia. I am so excited to be together with you for this leadership retreat event, and I can't wait to be with you in person. But until then, virtual will have to make it do. So when we think about where you are in your leadership journey, I am reminded of a quote, my very favorite quote by Eleanor Roosevelt: "The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dream." So I want you to think for just a moment. Do you have a dream? Do you know what it is that you want to accomplish? Do you know what your legacy is going to look like? When we first started doTERRA, we had a dream, a really, really big dream. We wanted to go out and find the most pure, the most potent essential oils on the planet, and we wanted to bring them to the people who would know how to use them. We wanted to educate people to tap into the power of nature. And we did this because we ourselves wanted to take care of our families. I'd been in the essential oil world for 10 years. I had grown up using essential oils with my children, and I watched miracles happen right before my very eyes as I used these precious gifts of nature on my kids. And I watched a mother in myself who had become accustomed to going to a doctor and doing exactly what he told me to do, to stepping into this world of empowerment, to know that I had everything I needed to be able to take care of my family in the way I saw fit. And it was an awesome, awesome feeling. And I wanted every single mother, I wanted every single person on the planet to have that privilege, to have that right. So when we started doTERRA, it was because I watched what happened in the essential oil industry. I watched something that started out so pure and beautiful become corrupt, and something that I could no longer stand behind. So I found myself stepping outside of the essential oil industry. I quit a job that I had come to love so much because I knew that if I stayed, my integrity was going to be compromised. Have you ever found yourself in a place like that, where you know that you can't continue doing what you've been doing? So when the thought came to go out and find these beautiful essential oils, to be able to make a difference for my family, I started searching. I started looking for a brand that would meet the quality standard that we needed to have for our family, and I couldn't find it. And I don't believe it existed in the marketplace anywhere, and I became very, very frustrated. I'm so grateful for the day that David Sterling and Dr. Hill and I gathered together to talk about what if. What if we could go out and source the most pure essential oils? What if we could bring them to the market in a mainstream fashion? What if we could truly empower people through education? And I got excited about that. And so we left that 5.5-hour conversation knowing exactly where we wanted to go, having such a clear vision and such a clear purpose. And so today we have almost 10 million families that have been blessed by these beautiful, precious gifts of the earth, because we believed in the beauty of our dream. So I ask you again about your dream. What is it? Do you know why it's important to you? When I first began in doTERRA, my why was all about my family. I was a young mother of 4. My youngest child was just a year old at the time. And as I looked at my children, I wanted the best for them. I wanted to make sure that they had everything their little bodies and their minds needed to make sure that they could become the people that I knew they could be. I wanted every mother to have the same. So my why started there. It started very small for me as a mother to have the tools I needed to take care of my family. But over time, that why grew. And I wanted other families to have that same thing. I wanted them to become empowered. And then I watched as we brought this beautiful business model into play. As we went out and found these most pure essential oils, and we started sharing them with people. We'd put them in small little bottles, and as they would open up the bottles and put these oils on and they would have an experience, it was one of these aha moments where they got it. They finally understood how nature has provided everything we need to be able to care for our bodies. And when they had these experiences, when they saw their health change, when they saw them going from being maybe lack of energy or lack of focus or lack of motivation, and they breathed in a little bit of peppermint, and all of a sudden they were invigorated and energized and focused. They said, what was that? I want more of that. And they wanted to share it. Or maybe they had a child who was suffering and they couldn't find any answers to care for that child. And now you put these little brown bottles into their hands and they watch this child change, to give them hope that there was a brighter tomorrow that lied ahead for them and for their families. They couldn't help but share these beautiful, beautiful gifts of the earth. And so now we take this business model and we yoke it with these gifts of the earth. We were very intentional about this. We chose a person-to-person model for a reason, because we knew that these oils had to be experienced. We couldn't sell them on the internet. We couldn't sell them in health food stores. It had to be person-to-person, because when we put these oils on, when we breathe them in, when we put them in our mouths, something changes inside of us. And we want to share those stories. We want to give other people hope that they can have better health too. And so now as you bring a person-to-person model together, as now you get to benefit from sharing these gifts with other people, and you get to start building a team and a community, we realize that that is just as important, just as valuable as the essential oils and the product that doTERRA shares. Because it's all about people. When you lift others up, there's something that happens inside of you where you become addicted to it, don't you? That's why you're all here. You are addicted to lifting other people up and giving them the answers that they seek in their life. And so this community that we have inside of doTERRA is something that really, really sets us apart. We have a culture like we've never experienced before. And I spent 10 years in network marketing before doTERRA was born. And I watched leaders fight with each other and build up these protective barriers around themselves. When they had a great idea, they didn't want anyone else to know, including, this is crazy, but including their own team. So they wouldn't share it with their peers, but they also wouldn't share it with their own team because they found themselves becoming competitive with everyone. And when that happens, no one wins. And so we wanted to create a compensation plan that would inspire and motivate others to work together so that all of our leaders would be collaborative and united. And that's what I see here happening with all of you. You've come together. You're bringing your greatest gifts and your greatest strengths together, and you're uniting. And we all rise together. So when you look at this community that you've gathered around you, and for some of you, your community might be small. You might be just starting on your leadership journey. And for others, you have a grand community that you have established. But when you look at what leadership means, leadership is the art of motivating a group of people to move towards a common cause. And so you ask yourself, are you doing that? Are you truly motivating your teams to work towards a greater cause, something that's bigger than themselves, bigger than any of us? Or are you focused on yourself and how you yourself can continue to advance and find the greatest success? You see, that will never work in doTERRA. You have to be focused on a common goal. You have to be focused on team and making sure that you're lifting the team. You can never, ever be afraid of someone outshining you. That's the greatest thing ever. You want people to be able to rise up in their gifts and their strengths and shine as bright as they possibly can. And if you are ever outranked by someone in your downline, that is a cause for celebration. We'll actually reward that through our compensation plan. You never have to be worried about that. And so, as you look at your leadership, you really look at the legacy that you want to create. Are you empowering your team to create their own legacies? Do you have a clear vision? Is your why deep enough? So my why, I told you, started with my family and then grew to wanting to empower more families. But now, as doTERRA is the size that it is today, I am so obsessed and addicted with what we can do through healing hands and compact sourcing. When we go into these developing countries where we source these precious, precious oils, and I get to look at these communities that have never been given hope. For them, they never saw a way to break outside of that poverty barrier that was put upon them. And now we get to hold their hand. We get to give them these baby starts, and they put them in the ground, and they watch them grow. And when they make that harvest, to be rewarded with a payout greater than they ever thought possible, to give them clean water systems, schools, community centers, access to medical care, all of the things they never thought they would have, to protect their children from having to go away from them for education. Which in doing this, by putting schools in these areas, we are protecting children from being trafficked and keeping them in the protective care of their parents. So when you think about all that we're doing through co-impact sourcing, we're creating leaders in these communities as well. We are giving them an opportunity also to shine. So I want you to know that as you do what you do so extraordinarily well, that not only are you blessing the lives of the people right in front of you, but you're blessing people on the other side of the bottle that you have never met yet. So my why has gotten so big because I'm so addicted to the work that we do in these communities. I can't get enough of it. But we can't keep creating jobs. We can't continue providing the school systems and the medical care that they so desperately need unless you, as our wellness advocates, shine bright. If you continue to share these glorious, glorious gifts of the earth with other people, if you continue to raise up new people in leadership, that can't happen. And so I want to thank you for the great work that you're doing right now, because you make it all work. You make it all possible. This legacy that you're creating right now is something that doesn't go away. I sat at a funeral just a couple of weeks ago of one of our wellness advocates. She had risen to the rank of gold, and she was so excited about getting these oils into as many hands as possible because she had seen the change in her own life. Never could she have imagined that in her 40s she'd be diagnosed with the disease known as Lou Gehrig's disease. In 2 years, her body completely deteriorated. The last year of her life, she could no longer move any of the muscles in her body. The only muscle that moved was her eyebrows. Her husband was able to leave his job and sit by her side for an entire year without worry of income, because the legacy that she had started continued to grow and was able to provide the income needed for her husband to be home with her. As I went to the funeral, and I hugged her husband and her children that she left behind. They were so full of gratitude for the gift that had been given to them. You think about what's happening in the world right now today. We feel so alone. We feel so isolated. There's such a lack of hope that's happening right now as we have gone through and still going through a worldwide pandemic. Never in my lifetime did I think that we would be where we are right now today. So when I look at the gift that doTERRA is to me and all of the relationships that have come into my life because this company was born, these relationships make me better. As I get to meet people all around the world, I am amazed at what lives inside of you. There's such beauty, there is such glory. What this business does is it gives us the key to unlock human potential. We get to unlock our own potential. We get to see gifts that we never realized we had. To realize that we can do hard things, that we have the ability to inspire others, to step outside of their comfort zone and to become better. And when we're united, when we're focused on a common goal together, there's nothing that can stop us. We were able to gather just last week for our very first in-person event in 14 months. And I probably hugged at least 350 people last week. And it was the best feeling in the world. But as I looked into the eyes of our leaders, and these were all diamond and above leaders, many of them said to me, I didn't realize that I was feeling so empty inside because they hadn't had that human connection in over a year. So as we're gathering together today via technology, I hope that you take this moment to ponder of how you can connect with people. Because when we can connect with intention, with purpose, we all come alive. But I think something's happened to us through this pandemic where maybe we became less intentional. Maybe we've been busy in our business. We've been working really hard. But I challenge you to really look inside to see how you can connect in a more meaningful way, to make sure people feel seen. I've received a lot of comments and emails from people as of late. And many are very grateful because during this time, during a worldwide pandemic, their incomes have been secure. This legacy that they have built has proven that it can stand the test of time because these are products that people desperately need to make sure that their well-being is intact. And they're so very grateful for that. But I've also received many messages with people that have had a lot of criticism. What I realize is the reason for that criticism is the fact that they feel unseen. The beauty of this business is that we get to let people know that they are seen, that they are valued, but it requires intentional connection where we get to check in on one another. We get to find out if we're okay. I can't tell you how many times I've been able to pick up the phone and call someone, not text them, but call them and hear their voice, where I will do a FaceTime or a Zoom so that they can see my eyes and I can see theirs and they can hear my voice and we can have that conversation. So if you can't get together in person, find a way to connect in a way that will be meaningful to them, to make sure they know that you see them, that you truly care about them. And wherever it's possible, even if it means gathering with just a few people, even if it's just one-on-one, connect in person. It's important that we touch each other's hands, that we get belly to belly as often as we possibly can. It's so healing. You know, we have some amazing leaders in Canada that have been growing and building in China. And then all of a sudden last year, they could no longer travel to China. They could no longer do what they'd been doing. Canada also got locked down. But they came to a time when 3 people were allowed to gather together. And so they brought 3 people in their home over and over and over again. They would rotate with different people all day long in order to create that human connection. Get creative. Do whatever you need to do. Break the mold. Think outside of the box. That's the beauty of this business, is you get to do it your way, right? You don't have to do it anybody else's way. Put your own creativity to it. That's what people will be drawn to. Find your voice. The world needs our voices. They need creative voices. They need unique voices. They need passionate voices. Because when you're passionate about what it is that you do, people are attracted to that. You become a magnet. People want to know what it is that you're doing. And they want to be a part of whatever it is that you're doing. So make this business fun. Make it your own. Create a legacy that you can be proud of. And the way that you do that is you create trust, right? You do what you say you will do, right? You treat people with respect and with love. And when you do that, they're going to want to rise up. They're going to want to have more of what you have. I'm so grateful that I get to come together with you for this very, very spectacular event. I need to have so many people here training you on different skills, different techniques, providing you different tools to help you do what you do even better. And it's really easy to look at all of the things that are going to be taught to you at this event and feel like you've got to incorporate them all in order to be successful. I'm going to tell you something. All you need to be successful lives inside of you right now, today. Go out and love people. Be passionate. Let your voice be heard. Create a community that is strong and loyal and united to one another. And have fun doing it. And don't forget to believe in the beauty of your dream. Because as you go after your dream, you give others permission to do the same. I love you so much, and I can't wait to hug you and be with you in person.